Ruben Amorim got a very important win last night for Manchester United and himself on his birthday. Happy birthday, Ruben Amorim. Happy away win in the Premier League. But in the process as well, within that same press conference, talking about his birthday and that win, he absolutely destroys Marcus Rashford in comparing him to a player that he just would never pick in his side. It's all the same for every single player. We're going to bring you the clip. You decide what you think. Is he going in on Marcus Rashford here? My opinion is this is all aimed at Ineos to get Marcus Rashford out of the football club. Another club has come in for Marcus Rashford, but he has turned them down. He is too big for that, certainly. Going to go into details on that, all of the transfer news and everything else that's going around Manchester United in the start of the last week of the transfer window. It's going to be a mega one this week. I am set, I am ready, and we are ready to go. It's Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He was confronted last night outside of Craven Cottage by angry Manchester United fans. Unsavoury scenes in that clip that's going around on social media, right up to his window. In fact, he rolls his window down and gets abuse hurled at him. Some that I wasn't really comfortable enough in putting out on a video for you all to see here on the show. It's too early, and the language used, you can imagine. Angry United fans, owner that's charging him a lot of money. We're going to talk about that and where United go from here and what Ineos could actually do to try and stem the flow of hate going their way right now at Manchester United. But all of that rolled into what is a jam-packed show. A little bit more of a bounce in our step this morning, Manchester United fans. Get your comments in the live section. If you're not a United fan, get your point in from the outside in. Tell us what you think. Tell us about that game yesterday. I think we pretty much broke down the game last night in terms of it was awful, but we got the win. I don't think there's anything more left to be said. A massive 3 points for Manchester United. It's what's going on around the club that seems to be more of a talking point right now. And that's where we're starting this morning. It's Marcus Rashford, top topic right now on what is going on at Manchester United. I'm going to play the clip now from one Ruben Amorim was asked last night. It was the last question in the press conference. Asked about Marcus Rashford, lack of goals, what's going on at United. Was there any thought of bringing Marcus Rashford back? This is 12 games now without Marcus Rashford. I'm just going to play you the actual clip now of what Ruben Amorim said last night in his presser after the Fulham game.
Is there any way back for Marcus Rashford? Because obviously we've got a proven record. He's not been in your team for I think 11 games now.
It's the same. It's always the same reason. So.
But what is that reason?
The reason is the training, the way I see what a footballer should do in training, in life, and is every day. So if things don't change, I will not change.
So if he's still here after the window closes, the same situation?
It's the same situation for every player. If you do the maximum, if you do the right things, we can use every player. And you can see it today on the bench. We miss a little bit like pace to go, to change the game, to move some pieces. But I prefer like that. I will put Vital before I put a player that don't give the maximum every day. So I will not change in that department.
Vital, for anybody who doesn't know, is the 63-year-old reserve team goalkeeping coach. And we talked about it last night. I wanted to watch the clip back. I didn't see it. In case it was sort of just put out there in text form and changed a little bit, like lost in translation as to how Ruben was actually putting that message across last night. I think it was quite clear. Every time, for me, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, every time he talks about Marcus Rashford, every time he opens up about him on any subjects whatsoever, you mentioned Marcus Rashford in the press conference, his whole tone and demeanour changes. It's like he's fed up of Marcus Rashford. It's like he's fed up of what Marcus Rashford is at this football club. And that, I think, is what every single Manchester United fan is... I think every single United fan is clinging on to right now. It's like he just understands where we're actually at with certain players. And he is always going to be right there in the fans' hearts and praised by the fans as long as he keeps his stance with the players. It's down to him to make sure that he sieves out the players that aren't working. And he has done that. He has done that well, I think. He is struggling big time with the squad and the quality of the squad. The Rashford question alone came about through Rasmus Højlund questions and him completely firing blanks and having no luck whatsoever right now. He is just contributing nothing to the game, and he's out of his depth a little bit. But Ruben defended Rasmus Højlund in saying, in training, he stays behind. He does extra sessions. He wants to learn. He wants to be better. And that is complete opposite to what he's talking about here with Marcus Rashford. So interesting how he came across from the Rasmus Højlund question straight into a Marcus Rashford one. It sort of led him perfectly in to explain why, and why he will always defend these players. Look, it's not their fault their capabilities are where they are, but if they want to learn more and train harder and get better, then there will always be a place in the side for them, and there will always be a place and more game time for these players than anybody who isn't willing to put the effort in. He said it right there. It's the same for every single player. If you want to put the right amount of effort in, if you want to put the same application in as the players that are playing in these games, then you will play games. But he is not going to play a player that he doesn't see fit. In several press conferences now, he's had to respond to Marcus Rashford questions. They're going to keep on coming. There is a week left in the transfer window to Ineos, for Ineos to sort this out, to finalise a deal, to move these questions and problem away from Ruben Amorim. The press conference there, they were talking to Ruben Amorim. It's his 40th birthday today. Man, I can't believe I'm older than him. For God's sake, man, that makes me feel bad. But 40 today, and it feels like he's 50 managing Manchester United. Everything at this football club is higher pressure, higher intensity, higher scrutiny. We know this. And Ruben Amorim is doing this with his hands tied behind his back, with a weight. It's like he's trying to run. In bloody high heels. It's like he's trying to swim with a weight tied around his ankles and he's only able to use his arms. He's trying to train these players without the right facilities. This is what it's like. It's literally with a player like this and players who don't want to be part of your squad or don't want to show the same interest and put the same effort in as other players in your team. This is what Ruben's dealing with right now. And I said it last night, Ten Hag left us in a mess. He left us 13th in the league, nowhere in Europe, completely fallen off. Ruben Amorim, in 2 months at Manchester United, has come in, completely ripped everything up, had to deal with fallout, massive amounts of fallout, a transfer window, players that aren't good enough, players that are trying to figure out a new system, which is inexcusable, by the way, and deal with this mess off the pitch, and still got us in a better position in the league than where we was, completely solidified the European position, and beat Arsenal away from home in the FA Cup, which, let's be honest, Ten Hag was never going to do. This is what he's having to deal with right now. Ten Hag went down one direction and was trying to appease all of the players and just make something work with what we've got. Ruben Amorim is fully taking on the task in front of him right now, and the way that he's handled the Marcus Rashford situation is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Every single press conference that he's gone into, he's answered exactly the same way. He's not changed. And he said it again in his press conference, I will not change. This is going to work my way, or you are not going to play. We're not going to play a different style of football just because it doesn't suit some players. That's his look on everything. And that, I think, was key and clear last night. When you're talking about putting a player on, not even a player, a coach who's 63 on the bench ahead of Marcus Rashford, because he was alluding to Marcus Rashford. You can try and use the quote and say he would rather play a head coach and a 63-year-old coach on the bench ahead of a player who isn't putting the right application in. But the question came from Marcus Rashford. We know that it was on Rashford, because they keep on asking him these questions. He's going to keep on firing back. I think he was actually really riled by the fact that the PR side of things was just pushing Marcus Rashford onto him from that game before Thursday's Europa League against Rangers. I think he was annoyed at that. And look, he's there, he's fully fit apparently, saying he's ready to play, and he's still not getting anywhere near the squad. So quite clearly he isn't, and there is no application there for Marcus Rashford. So Jim Ratcliffe, where are you? You're the one who is going to have to make this work right now. Because we're hearing as well, and the stories today, that Galatasaray have come in with a bid. Besiktas from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have come in with a bid. In fact, the bid from Galatasaray and what's come there has come out from a Turkish Ekrem Konur, who's come out with this, saying that Marcus Rashford was offered. Galatasaray have approached Marcus Rashford's camp for the possible 6-month loan in Turkey, but he wants to play in a higher league and has declined the offer. Who do you think you are? Seriously, Marcus, where do you think your level is at? You need game time. If there's someone there that's going to give you the minutes, if there's someone there that's going to give you the opportunity, surely you have to take it. This is you can talk about him looking at this and saying, I'm willing to take a pay cut to go to Barcelona. Look, needs must right now. Your career is in the balance, and all he's thinking about is his own profile for me in comments, not comments, because he didn't comment like that, but apparently he's turned it down. If you have turned something like that down, this is all about profile now. This is all about how he is seen and how he wants people to see him. He doesn't feel like he thinks he's above the Turkish league, basically, is what he's saying there. Now, where is his level? Honestly, I think his level right now and the way he's performed over the last 18 months is the Saudi Pro League. And I'll say that confidently because I think it is. Is he better than Karim Benzema? Would Karim Benzema do a better job than Marcus Rashford in the Premier League right now? Yes, he would. I'm telling you right now. Would Cristiano Ronaldo do a better job in the Premier League than Marcus Rashford right now? Yes, he would. Neymar, yeah, even though he's not been injured, he'd probably still do a better job than Marcus Rashford. But this man thinks he belongs at the highest level without putting in the right application, the right effort. That's where he is at right now. And Ruben's dealing with that. That is where we're at. That is everything right now about Marcus Rashford. And let's be honest, he's nowhere near it. He's nowhere near it when he's fit. Honestly, I don't know where his head is at. I don't know what he's thinking. But there needs to be a solid effort from all parties involved now this week to try and get this moved on, because it's getting to a point where United are now being hampered and weighed down, and Ruben Amorim I said it before, he's struggling with what he's got in his squad. He's struggling to deal with everything that's happening at Manchester United. And there are only certain people now who can help him. The players are giving everything. He said that. Look at Rasmus Højlund. I wanted to make a big point because I was going in on Rasmus Højlund last night. I'm not having a go at his effort. I'm really not. I just don't think the quality's there. And sometimes hard decisions need to be made, and there does need to be one with Rasmus Højlund sooner or later. If we get to the back end of the season and it hasn't got better for him, we cannot stand around. If he's happy to stay on the bench and learn behind another striker, then I think United will go forward that way. He's good for squad depth, and you know what? This is maybe his level, coming on off the bench and being an impact player. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sort of vibes going on like that. I mean, he needs to work on everything about his game. Maybe his out of the limelight and on the bench and coming on making appearances here and there might work for him. So yes, that's it as well. But yeah, let's just see exactly what's going to happen with Rasmus Højlund throughout the season. But I do think United are still going for another forward in this transfer window. We'll get to the transfer news in a moment, but we do need to get your comments in and your questions in on Marcus Rashford first of all. Thank you for all the likes already. Everyone who has subscribed to the channel just on this show alone this morning, thank you again. Please hit the subscribe button along with the bell notification to make sure that you are fully up to date with everything that's going on at Manchester United. I've got you covered, especially this week. It's going to be a busy one, but I'm here. I'm ready for it. We have got a poll running right now. Would you put the goalkeeping coach Vital on the bench before Rashford? It's kind of a joke one. It's just a joke one. 85% of you, by the way, said yes so far. Stop it. Gifted membership from Tom. Thank you. Super chat in from You Got Raws. Legend. Thank you, both of you. Going to need a full FUTV skills breakdown video on the goalkeeping coach. Cheers, Adam. What is he going to bring? Honestly, you can laugh and joke about it. And do you know what? We can do because we won the game. And it's just nice to actually see Manchester United fans a little bit upbeat on social media and everywhere else this morning. I'm just riding it. I'm riding it out at the moment in terms of what's actually happening with United. But look, when it comes to Marcus Rashford, I'll get your comments in on this now. I'm always going to be checking just off screen. So if I do veer away, it's because I'm checking on everything that's coming out news-wise to make sure that we're completely up to date. This is how the transfer window is going to be going this week, everybody. So, yeah, just bear with me and make sure that we're not missing out on anything. It's going to be one of them weeks. But Into the comments section we go on this one. Rasmus Højlund needs to get a loan move to a championship club. He simply isn't a top-level striker yet, or maybe never will be, but we potentially have ruined him. Yeah, good point on that one, actually, there, in terms of United's impact on Rasmus Højlund and what we have done in... When you look at it right now, when you look at Manchester United's iconic shirts, number 10, my favourite players of all time, all I can think about with number 10 is Mark Hughes. That's on Marcus Rashford's back. Number 7, the legendary 7 shirt. That's on... What? That's on Mason Mount's back. That's 7, 10. And let's go to number 9, Rasmus Højlund. Poor lad, honestly, like pressure on his shoulders in being the number 1 striker at Manchester United. You can see where this club has gone wrong just by the way that certain players have been built up to be something that they're not. What is the thinking behind this club sometimes? I swear, like, wow. The contracts, the shirts, the simple things like the shirts, like, you could say that that's nothing and it doesn't matter. But you know what? For this football club, it kind of does. They're supposed to be your main players. They're your main players at this football club, and they are nowhere near good enough, or even compete, or even doing anything at the moment. When you put Mount, Rasmus Højlund, and Marcus Rashford together, and I'm really not tarnishing Rasmus Højlund with the brush of Mason Mount and Marcus Rashford. I'm not. I'm just going off the shirt numbers. When you look at your main players, they're supposed to be the core, the main guys. Where are they? What have they contributed? They're not getting in a team. This is the whole organisation, this football club, and that's the point. I think good point from Ginge there. What has this club done to him? The impact that we have had on Rasmus Højlund as well. Mr. Dacia Sandero, I admit we will look back in 2 years' time when we will be in a good position on and off the pitch, and we will be saying, where did it really start to change when Rashford left? And it's close. We always said it. In the summer, I banged on about it forever and a day. People had a go at me saying I had an agenda against Marcus Rashford, especially from last season. It's carried on into this season. I just knew as soon as what happened last season with him, we were on a downward spiral, and I didn't think there was a way back. I really didn't. And I said, until you cut the head off the dragon, it's always going to be the same. The culture is going to be the same. You had a chance in the summer. You didn't take it. You've got a massive chance right now to have an impact on someone who has really got the best interests of this club to heart and isn't just trying to get by in Ruben Amorim. This is your opportunity, Ineos. Do something about it. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at pressure mounted onto a coach again that you hired this time, that people are asking questions about whether he can actually survive at this club with what he's got, because you're not giving him enough to work with. Greg says, can't be asked giving any more brain energy to that lad. If he's here or not after the window, I don't care. If he wants to crash his career, go for it. And wake up when it's over. Yeah, I think everybody's in that position with him right now. Welcome back to the Members Club. Lee Cape Town, love that. Thank you, mate. Andrew says, when Rasmus was signed, we all thought that he would just be backup striker and thought they would bring in an experienced striker to help him. True. It was the same someone that we were looking at, but the likes of Declan Rice and Harry Kane. They were the sort of players United needed at the time. We can build youth, and buying the right age player is important as well. But sometimes you do need to just go and get the right man. And United haven't done that for a long time. They really haven't. Not a specialist position player. They need to make sure that they get him. Let's get a couple more comments in. Sadly, I'll have to leave the room. Being called away. I'll catch you when I have... when I can. I have a fantastic day, everybody. The Realist, love your comments, mates. You stay in there, stay strong, enjoy your day, mates. We love that. Thank you. 2025, zero talents. 1995, tons of talent. Face the truth. These that can't play proper football. There's no one that can play proper football. Linda says, Rashford needs bringing back down to earth with a bang. He can't see what's happening. He really needs help. He needs help from his representatives as well. If you want to save your career, go make something happen. Go make something happen. That's up to you and your reps. You know, it's not up to Manchester United to this point. Like, if you want to use United and complain about the situation we're in, go for it, Marcus. But this is on you. You've got the opportunity to make something happen. If you're not willing to, then everyone's going to see through you right now. Look, Ineos, like I said before, in Ruben's case, they're the only ones that can help him out. But when you look at Marcus on the personal side of things, surely someone's got to be saying to this lad now, look, it's not going to work here anymore. We need to take drastic measures. We need to. Good to be back. Being hacked, bloody hell. I feel like our supporters, but they constantly being robbed every week from our team's performance. Cheers for that, Lee. And thanks for the super chat, mate. Sorry to hear about that as well. Never any good when you get hacked. It's going around quite a bit at the moment, isn't it? Right, let's move on to what happened with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I'm sure you've seen the clips on social media outside of Fulham last night after the game, berated by the Manchester United fans, calling him a disgrace. The language used was very, very strong. 66 quid, you're taking him. This is Manchester United. Oh, they were going in on him big time. And I think, like, when he wound his window down, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, really? Like, and it just goes to show sometimes, like, the big owners, like, they don't realise what they're doing. They're in their world, and like I said, I'm not saying that they need to, like, know what's going on, like, understand everything what's going on in the fan base. They have, obviously, bigger fish to fry in what they're doing, but sometimes I just don't think they realise. And moments like this, hopefully, I know it wasn't right. I know what was shouted at him wasn't right, but I think they have to understand what they do does have implications. You're talking about Manchester here. You're not talking about nice parts of London like Fulham. You're not talking about the expensive part of the country where everybody spends a certain amount of money. And obviously this was going to come to the boil. The fact that he's turned up in London, the fact that this was the club that he compared Manchester United to when speaking to Andy Mitten of United We Stand, and talking about the prices and why United should be paying exactly what Fulham are paying. Look, it's not the case of the size of the football club. Manchester United, if you understand what we're all about, and you say you do, and you were brought up in Failsworth and Manchester, then you understand that this is a working class city and we haven't got the money that maybe some people down in London have got. So he rolls out of the posh side of London in his nice Mercedes, and he gets absolutely slaughtered by Manchester United fans on the street. And you know what a lot of people will say? You deserve it. He didn't deserve the language and the abuse that thrown at him, but he deserves to be criticised and questions need to be asked. Because I do believe that they just don't understand what fans are going through a lot of the time. And I think this will hopefully will do him good. It will be a bit of a reality check for Sir Jim Ratcliffe when looking at this and going, like, look, you are angering this fan base. You need to do more. And that will work across into other parts of the club as well. It's like we're sick to death of watching this. You're watching this today. You know that that's not worth 66 quid. Ruben Amorim is doing what he can to get results because you're not backing him with the right amount of money to make this team play better or have the chance to play better. And that, I think, is where United fans are coming from with this. It doesn't warrant 66 quid. It isn't that value for money. And do you know what? I don't blame the fans having a go at him. I knew this was going to come. You're worse than the Glazers. That's the comment that came out. You are worse than the Glazers. Can you imagine hearing that after the way that this club has been running to the ground? If that doesn't resonate with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, after what he was saying and looking at the books, looking at the data, looking at where this club is, we need to be challenging again. He knows that the Glazers have run this club into the ground. He knows that there's been mismanagement at this football club. And to where United fans, who you're trying to turn around and get on your side, shout to you, you're worse than the Glazer ownership. That has to resonate. That has to hit home, surely. And you know what? A lot of fans will say he got what he deserved yesterday. And in a way, he did. Because you cannot just stroll around saying these things and saying that United are going to do something and then just turn up at games trying to charge fans more than what they should be paying and not get anything back. I think that there will be will he listen in? Will he listen to what the fans said? Will it have affected him at all? I don't know. I don't think it will with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He's been through a lot worse than a few United fans hurling abuse at him driving out of a football stadium. So we'll see. We'll see. But everybody's eyes are going to be on Ineos to see what they do. Because all of the situations put together, you can look at the ticket pricing, you look at Marcus Rashford, you look at Ruben Amorim struggling with this squad, you look at everything going on with the stadium, what's been said, everybody laughing at Manchester United fans. You've got to expect a bit of a backlash from the fan base. And this is where we're at right now. This is the most important part of it. And I get into your comments now, so get them in. Please like the video, everybody. We're creeping up to 300. Let's see if we can get 500 on the live stream today. I'm sure we can. Make sure you have subscribed as well. We've got you covered in the transfer window. We are going into the transfer news next. There is a bit stacking up as well. Fresh start to the week. I think it's going to be... I actually do believe that United are going to be very active. We're waiting on Rashford. We're waiting on Garnacho. We're waiting on Dorgu. We've got more news and updates on Nkunku as well, so we're going to get into all of that in a moment. But let's get your thoughts on that incident outside Craven Cottage and what was said to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think everybody's feeling a bit angry right now. Everybody's feeling upset with where Manchester United are at, what's going on with the club. It's not a happy place. It isn't. Results help and results change minds, but the only way that we are going to get consistent results is if we've got a better team. The only way we get a better team is by investment. The only way we get a better team is by getting rid of players that are not fitting in, that have dragged this club down for years. And this is what the fans want to see. They want to see action. It's all good and well talking up Manchester United needing to knock Liverpool and City off their perch. Everybody knows that that's going to take a lot of work. And all anyone I feel from Indians fan base saying at the moment is that Ineos are taking us backwards. Nothing has changed. So let's see. If Rashford was in any other job, he would have been sacked a long time ago. Wages should be how good you're playing. Red Army Reaction says it wouldn't be unreasonable to ask the owners for a headline plan. People get pissed off when they are in the dark. It's true. They draw their own conclusions. It's a good point. It is. That's it. When you don't have clarity, when you don't have an understanding of something, you're guessing. You're constantly guessing, aren't you? And you're putting two and two together. We do it on the show. We look at all of the headlines, we look at the news, we look at what journalists say, we look at what interviews have been had and what Sir Jim might say, Ruben Amorim, or anything. In every situation, every conversation and debate about Manchester United in any area of the club, if you don't know, you're guessing. And right now, Manchester United fans are trying to guess as to what's coming next. And they're worried. They're worried that they might be priced out of going watching their club again. They're putting all of this effort in. They've been through a decade of absolute shit. And there has been some highs. I'm not going to say there hasn't been. There has been some great finals and some moments and we've won trophies. But let's be honest. We've been the butt of every single joke for every opposition fan. The decline of Manchester United. And right now, that era, that last decade of absolute shite, let's be honest, that at Manchester United, and then you got the fans that have been there through all of that, trying to back player after player after player that has been nowhere near good enough and told that your standards have to drop. We have done all that, and then Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in a year in and he wants to up the prices to take these fans away and then still have the front to say that Manchester United are going to be moving in the right direction. Like, this is where the fan base is at right now, and it's lashing out. There has to be more done. If it's going to be 66 quid for a ticket, we have to have something better to watch. We have to have better facilities. So we get, like, the stadium, the plan and everything like that, giving the fans more, but that's 7 years down the line. We need to see action on the pitch. We need to see action within the playing staff as well. We need to see brutal cuts there as well as everywhere else at the football club, because everyone's paying but the players. And that's the point I think Manchester United fans are at now. They're like, you're not doing anything. You haven't done anything and you're trying to hit us before you hit everybody else. It's not on. And that, I think, is where everything is at. That's where I think this whole football club is at right now. And results will change the whole outlook. They will. They always do. There were some interesting quotes about the Leacher tackle last night as well. I'll get into that a bit later on as well in the show. But being quizzed by the journalist on Leacher's tackle, that was a bit crazy, to be honest, from Leacher last night. Wasn't impressed with that one. I did say my nan would have done better in some instances. Surely the goalkeeping coach is up to it. Next is Bruno. He won't last with trying too many Hollywood anymore. Too many Hollywood passes, I'm guessing, anymore, you meant to say there. It's better when he is... when he is for the team. Rashford needs a new management team around him. True. That is everything again, like what everybody's picking up on right now. Marcus Rashford's representatives, his advisors, where are they? You can only imagine the conversations that are going on behind the scenes. Like, it just baffles, doesn't it? It does. Please bring Obi Martin into the first team squad. Stick him on the bench and give him some self-confidence. I don't think he needs confidence, Tomo, mate. I think he's flying high at the moment, doing well. And United are nurturing him through. Like I said before, when it comes to Obi Martin and other academy players, let's see what happens throughout the window. Obviously, Obi Martin now is going to get more game time in the under-21s at a more difficult level, because Ethan Wheatley has been sent out on loan to Walsall now as well. So there's another player in the under-21s gone. Ethan Enes, another forward in the under-21s, he has gone. So 17-year-old Obi Martin will be playing under-21 level pretty much coming through the rest of this season. If he hits the mark and is showing enough, then maybe Ruben will bring him in. We'll have to wait and see. Zane is in the chat with a super chat. Again, very lucky win yesterday. How is that kind of football sustainable? Respects to United fans for confronting Ratcliffe. It's not sustainable, and no United fan is trying to kid away from what that game was, Zane. You picked up on what every single United fan did, but we're dragging out the results. We're digging in. We're waiting for change within the playing staff, and Ineos are the ones that are really there on everybody's hit list right now as to doing something, make it happen, give Ruben this opportunity. You know what, actually, credit to Ruben Amorim in the press conference. He did say, look, we cannot play this way. We're having to dig out these results. It isn't sustainable. We know this. And we will change. Sometimes we just need to get wins so we can build confidence from that. And that's where we're at with that. But thanks for that again. Cheers for the gifted membership again, Tom. Love that. And Anton, welcome to the Members Club, my friend. Into the transfer news. Let's get into that now in the last part of the show. And everything that is going on with Manchester United around all of the names that we know about anyway. And that being, first of all, Romano's tweet this morning regarding Patrick Dorgu, just to keep you updated on that situation. It has been pretty much covered throughout everything that's going on around the club at the moment. But yes, Romano, as you can see at the bottom of your screen there, that's the latest tweet. Manchester United are set to approach Lecce again this week for Patrick Dorgu. Add-ons will be key for the final proposal to get closer to Lecce's 34 million valuation. Again, still the same report from yesterday there, going across your screen as well. In terms of the difference in price and where United are at and where Lecce are at, Ben Jacobs going in on this one. This is where it's actually at in terms of this deal right now. United are not going to be paying any more up front as in transfer fee. This is all going to be around add-ons. This is the only way that United make this deal happen for Lecce now and Patrick Dorgu coming into the football club. This is where Manchester United are at with their proposal. So what is happening is United at 28 million, I think we're at right now with the current bid for Dorgu. And that is going to be rising up towards or close towards the 34 million. It's not going to hit the 34. I can tell you that for nothing right now. United will not be paying 34 million. There has to be some kind of confidence within United's bid for Dorgu that maybe 30 million is going to do this. Because there's no way that United, we've never done it before. There's never been a rise in 6 million like that to get to where a club is that we're buying a player off. We've never jumped that far. So if we're that far away, there is one more offer going in, and I think United walk away from the deal. I do. I think 30 million is the max. I think there will be add-ons going up from 28 million on performance-related side of things into 30 million for Dorgu. I don't think we're going to get past that. I think it's going to be interesting how United handle this, because if it's not back again, do we look stupid in not getting the player that we want, having bid for him for over a week and wasted the last week of the window, and then we are desperately looking at whatever else is out there? And we talked about Alvaro Fernandez and his situation. United have to be 100% confident that this next bid is going to do it. There has to be some confidence within the negotiation teams at United and where we're actually at with this right now, because if we don't get this next one, we're going to look stupid. And if we don't bring a player in this window, which is still a possibility, I can't see it with how far down the line we are with negotiations right now. I just can't. But if that does happen, oh wow, we're going down that conversation road again of what the hell is Ruben Amorim going to do? What do you expect him to do? Like, you brought him in knowing what he was going to do. He's doing it, and he's doing it with his hands tied behind his back, like we said. If this bid for Dorgu does not go through, this next one, and we get him for approximately 30 million, and we have to walk away, that is just going to fuel the argument against Ineos even more. They are going to be right up against it if this bid doesn't get anywhere near where it needs to be. I think it will. I think they must feel confident that 30 is going to get it done. Otherwise, I don't know. Majestic in with a chat there. I haven't missed a show for a year and a half. Excellent morning show. Love that, mate. Thank you for that comment. Love comments like that. In terms of Dorgu, get into the comment section right now as well and tell me, are we getting him? Thank you for the gifted membership, London. Hello, Greg. Welcome to the members club. Walk away from Dorgu. Look at cheaper alternatives, says MA. 30 million is mental. Absolutely fleeced, says Kenny. Wolves want 60 million minimum for their players. Prices are going crazy, isn't it? 2 pro Ineos, apparently. This channel is for me. I don't know how I've been pro Ineos this morning. I think I've been balanced, David. But hey, look, you see it how you want to see it. It's not pro Ineos. I'm real about it. I understand it from every side. I'm not just going to go on one angle of, in my opinion, to try and appease a big chunk of the fan base. I see plenty of people out there doing it right now. There is a lot of different aspects at play with Manchester United. Ineos are doing good and bad. I see it both and I bring it all up for debate. And that is how we're always going to roll here. We're not just going to make up a story and just go in on it from one angle to appease the fan base because everyone feels like they're against Ineos right now. It's not how we work. There is a lot more at play in this. Is he worth buying, Adam, says JF. Apparently he's Ruben's top target. And if United had done the recruitment properly, I mean, when you listen to Ruben Amorim last night in the press conference, and again, another big line from the presser was, we have to be careful. We have wasted money before. We've made mistakes before, was the key line that he said in the transfer window. We have to make sure that they're right. If they don't get this one right, after him saying that, then I think it will... I think it will hit a different sort of depression level within the Man United fan base and confidence in this team moving forward or getting anywhere in the future. It really will. But it has to be perfect. Ruben said it. These signings have to be the best that we can get. Recruitment is key right now. And if they feel like Dorgu is the right man for Manchester United, then make sure that you get the deal done. Is he? None of us really knew about him until 6 months ago. And this is it. There are breakthrough seasons. And what I think a lot of people would do is like, all right, has he had enough experience at the highest level to come in and deal with Manchester United? The answer to that is no. So there is something in this man's characteristics, his mentality and everything else that is within him that the club is looking at and are saying he's the right man for Manchester United. There has to be that there. Otherwise, we're struggling. But that is the update on Patrick Dorgu. Keep your comments coming in on that. I'm just going to run through the other news on where we're actually at. We brought you the news earlier on in the Rashford situation at the top of the show about that bid from Galatasaray wanting to take Marcus Rashford on loan. Rashford apparently has turned that bid down. He wants to play in a higher league. You're running out of options, mate. You really are. Like Dortmund right at the moment, I don't know where they're at. There is so much that needs to develop this week for Marcus Rashford. I just feel like I think he's destroying his own career right now. I think he's in self-destruct mode. And I don't think anybody on his side are advising him right and that. He should be looking at Galatasaray and taking that seriously. He needs to be playing football. It's as simple as that. More news coming out regarding Christopher Nkunku. Now, we've covered this quite a bit, obviously, this week. Christopher Nkunku is understood to be keen on a potential transfer to Manchester United and is pushing for a deal. So Christopher Nkunku is actually pushing to go to Manchester United. It is only going to be a loan, so don't worry too much. Christopher Nkunku on loan. We drastically need a forward in this team if it's going to work for Ruben Amorim. Like, it's all right saying that Rasmus is trying. It's all right saying that Joshua Zirkzee is learning. But you've lost Marcus Rashford. You could be losing Alejandro Garnacho. United need another forward in. something different. And if a loan move for Nkunku brings you a bit more of an experienced player who has got a bit more about him goal-wise, which he has, more than any of our forwards, then you have to make that happen. We did a poll last night, and I think it was probably fueled after watching Manchester United having one shot on target the whole game, and our forwards not really hitting it. I mean, when the stat came out about Lisandro Martinez having more goal involvements in the Premier League this season than Rasmus Højlund, that hits home. And the poll last night, when we were questioning what position is more key in this window for United to bring in now in the last week, striker took it over left wing back. I think United will buy Dorgu. I think United will loan another forward in. I think it will be Christopher Nkunku, because I do believe that Alejandro Garnacho will be sold to Chelsea. I just feel like that is where we're at. We know that a bid has gone in, and it's strange how we haven't heard about it. Now, I put 2 and 2 together, and again, we're going back to fans actually not knowing what's going on. And we don't need to know everything, but I look at the situation and nothing being said about Garnacho and this bid supposedly being in. So Jim Ratcliffe's relationship with Chelsea. Obviously, we talked about before on shows last week about how the relationship at the high end of the football clubs at Chelsea and United is very, very good. I think that is down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And I think this is why this bid is going under the radar. I think there is a lot going on behind the scenes regarding Nkunku, regarding Garnacho right now. We know that Napoli are still interested. I think they're just keeping their eye on things right now. It is all sort of pushing towards the... it's all pushing towards the Garnacho to Chelsea side of things. I think that's where we're actually at with it. And I think something will come out today about Garnacho. Now that we've got, obviously, the game on Thursday in Romania, I feel like we are going to be pushing towards a bid being announced, or officially announced this week. Romano has been pushing on this as well, saying that there is contact between the two clubs and a bid is going to be known. It's supposedly 60 million. If it is 60 million, again, that is more than enough, I think, for Alejandro Garnacho, and United will take that. Ultimately, though, it has come out and reports have come out that it's on Ruben Amorim. If Ruben Amorim feels he can get more out of Garnacho, the decision will come with him. It's up to Ruben to say whether he wants the funds to reinvest in Manchester United and he can get better, or if he wants to keep Garnacho as part of this team. He will have the final say, and that's come out yesterday actually in the Garnacho side of things. He will have the decision to make. The club will not force this upon Ruben Amorim. That's been made clear in the media that that's where we're actually at. So that's going to be interesting to see if Ruben does go one way or the other. But if I'm watching the game against Fulham last night, I'm watching Garnacho, again, busy. But is he the finished article? No. Can he get better? Well, of course he can. But has Ruben got time to make him better? No. Is the honest answer that I come to. And they're the big decisions and the hard decisions that this club is going to have to make over this next week. And into the summer, in fact, as well. There are players in this club that we think can have the potential, but there is that concern that potential, like many players before him, is not going to be fulfilled at Manchester United. You need to be a different player at this football club. And I don't know if Ruben is looking at Garnacho in that way. I don't think he is. New subscribers here. First time I am here. And at all, actually. Never seen this channel before, and I am impressed by my first impression. I love that. I love that. Is that Medium Hell? I think that's how you say it. Medium Hell. Thank you for that, chat. Love that. Thank you. Get your comments in now on the transfer situation. Ruben Amorim, what should he do with Garnacho? Is it a case of let Garnacho go, get the money in, let's get players in? I said this before, when Garnacho has a good game against Rangers, everyone thinks he can't be selling him. 2 weeks before all of the mess, like going into the back end of last year, everybody was open for Garnacho being sold. Obviously, football games change minds, but I said, let's just see what he does against Fulham. After the Rangers game, he did well, and we all praised him for that game. He did better. I could clearly see he was taking on criticism. He was taking on instructions from Ruben Amorim from the sidelines. From where I was sat in the stadium, you could clearly see him looking across, and he's trying, Garnacho. He really is trying, and I can only praise him for it. I really can. He is struggling, but yesterday it looked like he was drifting out wide again too much, and Ruben alluded to this. Mazraoui was further infield than him, and Mazraoui's the wide wing back. I just don't think he can get to grips. If he cannot get to grips with what Ruben wants, then I'm sorry, I know it's going to pain a lot of people, and a lot of people will not agree with me. If he doesn't work, he has to be sold. That money is vital to Manchester United, and to bring someone else in, excuse me, who does work for Ruben Amorim, that is everything. That is everything right now. And that's what everybody's waiting to see. How cutthroat is Ruben going to be with the likes of Garnacho? How ruthless are Ineos going to be in getting rid of these players? These are everything that we've talked about today. Ruben with his hands tied behind his back. It's all right saying this, but we cannot go the other way and start disrespecting him or criticising Ruben Amorim because he's made a decision on a certain player that everybody thinks should be given time. It's not like that. We have to give him the chance. And if he makes a decision that we don't agree with, or it's a player we like and think should have a better chance, we have to move that aside as a fan base and trust in what Ruben wants to do right now. Because let's be honest, he is the only manager / coach to come into this football club and just lay it all out on the table for everybody to see. And the stuff that he's laying out on the table is everything that we have been complaining about at this football club, within this fan base, for years now. So he deserves a chance to make these big decisions himself, and we will judge him off these decisions. He said it. We need to make sure it's right. We've made mistakes at this football club. We've made loads of mistakes in the transfer window. It has to be perfect. Christopher Nkunku, Patrick Dorgu, Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford. That is going to be everything for Manchester United this week, I think. Whether or not there's another forward that jumps out from the pack that Manchester United might be going for, we will see, won't we? But I'm just going to double check all of news. Get your comments. Actually, let's get into the comments now and see where you're at with everything that I'm talking about here. Just call me Mede. Okay, mate. Much easier. And I guess I might be a regular in the chat here if you have lots of live feeds. Well, we do. We're usually on about 3 a day at the moment with everything going on about United. If Jim paid the debt, would that cripple us in terms of past? Jim's not going to pay the debt because he cannot get the power off the Glazers. I understand what you're saying, and I know I'm going a little bit aside of what you asked there, Martin, but if he paid the debt, it would help Manchester United, because right now the debt that we're paying and the interest we're paying on it goes against us with PSR and the running of the football club. We would have an extra 60 million that we generated through revenues to spend if we didn't have the debt every single summer. And that's huge for Manchester United, because in PSR terms, that's about what you could buy. You could spend, with 60 million there? You could spend 180 million with PSR and just length out the contract, length out the payment plan to 5 years if you wanted to. You could balance the books easily. I actually, when I think about it, when I look at how PSR is going to change and what's going to happen going into next season, maybe Ineos are putting the money aside and just going, this is going to help us, because when squad ratio rule kicks in for PSR, which is supposedly 25-26 season, so next season, the whole outlook and the whole environment around PSR changes completely. The rule book goes. So what we're dealing with right now, this is the last year of it. And this is like, the Premier League have come out and said that the rule is going to change next year, next season. Obviously, City coming in on this case and what's happening with them has changed everything, and it sort of sidetracks the whole outcome of what PR is going to be. But it is going to change going into next season. So that, I think, we need to keep an eye on, because it might be a case that United are loaning players in this month to get Ruben Amorim over the line for this season. But the real money is going to be spent in the summer when the new rules kick in. Might be completely wrong in that. Honestly, I am. But I just know when I read into the PSR side of things, it is going to change. And I don't know if Ineos are looking at that. And they are waiting to take advantage of it, because it will help Manchester United massively, the new rules. in terms of their fight with the Glazers, they need to get them out. But the only way they can get them out is if the Ineos relinquish more shares. Now, I was told that within this whole stadium structure and the regeneration programme that's going on, the play for Ineos is they will put money in to help fund this, but it's only going to be at the cost of Ineos shares, Glazer shares, sorry. So they want more power. They will put more money in building everything, but it's only if they get more shares off the Glazers and get more power. And that's up to the Glazers. If they want to put their own money in and go with this, then Ineos don't stand a chance of moving the Glazers on, because Ineos and the Glazers are putting their own money in. Now, we know that the Glazers are not going to put money in. They haven't done for over 20 years. So this is, I think, the play on this. Moving forward, the Glazers are going to have to take some power, are going to lose some power if Ineos are going to put any more money into Manchester United. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at this situation forever and a day. So it's going to be a power play between the two ownerships of Manchester United over the next few years. I think Ineos' plan is within 5 years to be the main shareholder and complete control of Manchester United. I think that's where they're at. They're not going to put money in unless they get more power at the club. The pinned comment in the live chat, everybody, is our other channel, Football Talks, where we do all the other Premier League stuff as well. Please make sure you subscribe to Football Talks as well. That's our other channel. We do some watch-alongs as well. We will be busy this week with watch-alongs. Obviously, it's a busy week in Europe, so go pick your game. Let me know what you think we should be doing. Into the comments we go again. Garner plays on the left and has a left foot. He's not wide forward anymore. He has to use his left foot. His left foot is as bad as Anthony's right foot. Spirits of Lakota says, I plead with fellow fans to just let Ruben cut away Rashford. No way a legend, but still one of us who deserves dignity and best wishes as he moves on. It's hard to say with how he's really been over the last few years, but look, I said it before, if Rashford goes out on loan, I want him to do well for more reasons than one. Well, go and do well, because nobody wants to see a player completely suffer, no matter what has gone down or what's happened. But we also need him to do well so we can sell him in the summer. And that will be key as well. That will go to Manchester United's funds as well. Because there's no way if Ruben Amorim is in charge that he is going to be keeping Marcus Rashford. And United will be forced to sell Rashford. So we need him out on loan. We need him to go and be successful. We need him to go and find himself again and actually start playing football well again. So everybody looks at him differently and feels like he is that player. He's not going to work for Ruben Amorim. I think we say that. No way should he sell Garnacho, says Sweaty Yeti. If he doesn't work, he doesn't work. He's going to have to sell him. These are the tough decisions, and I get what you're saying. I get everybody who wants to keep Garnacho, I do. But is this not what has hampered Manchester United over the years? Putting too much onto these young players that probably aren't as good as what we think, because he has done good things and he is a good player. But if you lose one good player and bring in 3 more that are probably better and work better for Ruben Amorim, is that not the play? That's the question, isn't it? It is. How long can Ruben nurture and try and make Garnacho the player he needs him to be? And we're not scoring goals. We're not creating chances. We're getting games like we did yesterday at Fulham. 1 shot on target. If he's cutting inside all the time and not crossing the ball, and we're not going to get chances for Rasmus, it's going to affect other players. He's not looking at single players on their own, Ruben. He picks teams that he thinks are going to work together in certain sections, like the front three and how that changes. He just has to do what's necessary for him. And I back him on whatever decision he makes. If Garnacho stays, we're in. If Garnacho goes, we're in. It doesn't matter. It's all on Ruben. And that's the only thing that matters right now. You got Roz with his super chats. Do they get more for Garner now or in the summer window? Does that totally depend on how he is playing? Is Garnacho honestly worth more than 60 million? Even if he does all right in the rest of this season? Is he worth more than 60 million? You look at all of the players around the Premier League right now. Honestly, I don't think there's a £60 million player at United right now. I don't. That's just where I'm at. That's my reality right now. I think we are red-tinted glasses a lot of the time. I do. But yeah, you could argue Amad Diallo, that's the only one that really holds value. He's probably worth more than 60 million for me, and the only player in Man United's squad that is. Someone might pay it for Agate. I don't know. I think he's for 50 million. Bruno Fernandes, right now with his age, I think he's 20, 30 million max. I mean, Xerxes and Rasmus, I'm not even going to go there. Mason Mount, what's he worth? Luke Shaw, Kobe Mainu. You could argue Kobe Mainu, but he's not playing right now. I don't think he's worth more than 60 million. I honestly feel like that's where our team is at. That's the team that we've got right now. Kenny, who's just renewed his membership. Thank you, Kenny. We have to keep Rashford because he used to take the bus to training. Adam, no other child in Manchester does that. It's inspiring. I get you. Mainu plus Fernandes are worth over 60 million. This is the debate, isn't it? It is. I think there is value in Man United's squad, but we are massively underperforming, aren't we? Let's be honest. We are. Ravel Burns with another super chat says, Adello and Maz both inverted. Think it was tactical to get Ahmad and Garnacho space because our fullbacks aren't creative, so it's instant Garnacho not fitting. It isn't Garnacho not fitting the system. It is, mate. It is. You can say that they're inverted. There's no way that Garnacho, that Mazraoui and Dalot are inverted players. They're not good enough to do it. They're not good enough going forward. They are wide players. They are fullbacks. They're not wingbacks. So trying to change them is just, look, we went with a back five. We didn't give anything away. And we were just feeding on these moments. Ruben Amorim said it in his press conference. He basically said, we tried to be solid, and then it gives these players confidence if we're still in a game and they have got the quality to do something. It was a moment's game. We kind of played a moment's formation last night, and it worked for us and we got the result. And the moment was a centre-back running forward, hitting the ball in hope, and it deflected into the top corner. Ruben called it out in the press conference. There was no tweaks or changes. He drifted out wide too much. He needs to play, like Ruben says, better inside. He was doing it against Rangers, and Ruben said he's not going to change. He just needs better players to fit his system. Look, we've gone on way just under an hour, actually. Wow, what a show this morning, everybody. Welcome all new subscribers to Forever United TV. We've had well over 2,000 in the room for the majority of the show there. Absolutely love that. 640 likes. Mega. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure that you are subscribed. Bell notifications are on. Check out the other content on your channel. You won't miss a thing. We've got you covered this week, everybody. Thank you again, everyone in the chat. All of your contributions. Mega. Love you all. Absolute legends. But that is it for now. I will see you all probably around about lunchtime with an update. I'll keep you posted to exactly what time that is going to be as well. Thanks, everybody.